1, the perfect cannonball. Number 2, surround yourself with great friends. Number 3, be the master of the grill. Number 4, create your own soundtrack. Number 5, be the life of the party. And number 6, don't get burned.
All right, how's everybody doing today, huh? You guys doing good? Great, man. Boy, it is great to be in church today. Celebration Church, Jacksonville, Florida, man. It is great to be back. Many of you know I've been over in Europe the past couple of weeks and spoke at Hillsong London over there and a conference over there, but more importantly, spoke at Celebration Church, Northern Ireland. And it's just absolutely phenomenal what God's doing over there. And many of you know Pastor John Scott and his wife Rachel Scott. Many of the Ireland team comes over here for the conferences that we have and things like that. And they're really technically still an extension service, only meeting on Sunday night. But I went over there, and even though it's in the middle of the summer, they went ahead and went to 2 services. They added a Sunday morning service. And this past Sunday, they had 310 people there. Isn't that great? And you have to understand about churches in Europe. When you've been going like less than a year and it's 310 people, and that's almost all adults, God's really doing something special over there, and there's a lot of opportunity. So I just encourage you for your mission trips, looking out over the next 12 months, you might want to head over there to Northern Ireland. They have a great thing going on. You can visit Big John's Castle. That's what we call it over there. He got an incredible deal. It actually, don't take this the wrong way, but it actually was a brothel. It was come on, how many of you know what the devil intended for bad, God can turn it for good? And so it really was that kind of a house that was being used for that and had all these rooms. It was huge. Long story short, they kind of wanted to get what was associated with it, away. And so, come on, we came in there, and so he's got an incredible place that can even house mission teams. My family and I had an incredible time. We also went to Scotland, where we visited my relatives, the Weems, W-E-M-Y-S-S. That's right, there's an East Weems town, a West Weems town, and yes, there is a Weems Castle. And so I went there. I wanted to know why my part of the family was exiled across the Atlantic. I wanted to know where my inheritance was, and I was ready for some royalty love, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't get any. However, we had a great time over there, and it was incredible. So just want to thank you guys. I'm taking this weekend off, just kind of recovering. Your pastor has been preaching a lot over the past couple of weeks, and of course we have a big summer as we kind of get to that second half of July, man, with all of the back to school and all the things that we're rolling out for the fall. And of course we're all excited about this fall is the big move-in. Can you guys believe it? Big move-in at Bay Meadows and 9A. So many exciting things happening, and I'm a little under the weather. I kind of got some post-Euro crud, but God is fixing me up good. It's just so good to be worshiping with everybody. You guys are going to hear a great message today. Wasn't Mercy awesome last weekend? We have some fantastic preachers at Celebration Church. We're all so blessed. You're going to hear from one of your favorites today. Come on, give it up for Pastor Josh Turner right now. Come on, Pastor Josh.
Love you, buddy. How's everybody doing? Everybody doing well? Hey, I just want to always thank Pastor Stovall and Pastor Carey for giving me this opportunity to come and share with you guys. Man, it is seriously an honor to be able to come up and speak into your lives. And before we get started, I just want to kind of share something that is going on here at Celebration, just to kind of give you a heads up of something we're really excited about. For the past probably about 7-8 months, we've been working with Southeastern University down in Lakeland to create a program, a college program here at Celebration Church. So this August, we are launching something called Celebration College. It is partnered with Southeastern University down out of Lakeland. And so when someone comes to Celebration College to get trained in ministry, to get trained in leadership, they will actually be getting a degree from Southeastern University, which is an accredited program, just like Florida, Florida State. They all have the same accreditation. So we have a lot of full-time students that are going to be starting. We are unbelievably excited about this. But the other thing that we're super excited about is we were able to create a part-time program for a lot of you that maybe you can't do a full-time program, but you want to take some Bible classes and you want some extra leadership training. So what we have is Celebration College part-time or evenings, whatever we end up calling it. We're not quite sure at this point, but the classes are on Monday nights, and there are 2 Bible classes that are collegiate-level Bible classes. You can take them for credit, or you can just come and sit in and audit the classes, and then you'll also be taking 2 leadership classes that will be taught by some of the staff here on leadership, authority, honor. And so, man, here's the reason I want to tell you all that. If you feel like God is calling you, maybe not even to ministry, but just to deepen your walk with Him, whether it's in biblical knowledge or leadership, I want to encourage you to come outside. Outside, there's a table between the 2 double doors. I will be out there. We have these flyers, and then we also have a dean, is Paul Tompkins. Paul, could you stand up for us? This is Dean Paul. That is the best-looking dean in collegiate history right there. And so he's going to punch me in the throat for that later. So Paul and I will be outside, and we just want to put this in your hand and just give you a little information if you want it. But we are going to get started tonight, where am I right now? This morning, and continue in our series, SPF, where we have been looking at how do we not get burned this summer. And Pastor Mercy did an awesome job. That girl can preach, can't she? So she did an awesome job last week, and it was so cool last week as I was standing over to the side in the shadows like a creeper, and I was looking at the altar and just seeing the altars packed with people responding to God. And man, there is nothing that a pastor loves to see more than people at the altar encountering God. And so what we're going to do is we're going to roll right along today. And today we're going to start with one of my favorite disciples. And we're going to look at an exchange between this disciple and Jesus Christ. And the disciple I'm speaking of is Peter. Peter is one of my favorite disciples because I feel like I relate a lot to Peter. You know, there was this scene where Jesus told Peter, Peter, upon you, I'm going to build my church. You were the rock. And I feel like I relate to Peter, but not in that aspect. I feel like I relate to Peter, and I'm emotionally charged. I have a tendency to put my foot in my mouth, and I have a tendency to act on impulse, which usually gets me in a lot of trouble. And so that's where when I read about Peter and I study the life of Peter, that I feel like if Jesus were to come back and pick disciples, I might have a good chance of getting picked because he picked Peter. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he picked Peter, there's a good chance that I might be like, really, Jesus? Yes, and I'm in. And so you can go back and you can read Peter's resume of all the things that he did. He denies Christ 3 times. He's in the Garden of Gethsemane, and he cuts a guy's ear off as they come to arrest Jesus, which shows you that Peter is also horrible with a sword, because Peter wasn't like a swashbuckler, like going for the ear. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't like, He was going for the dude's head, and he just got an ear. He's horrible with a sword. Peter is on the top of Mountain Transfiguration. It's Peter, James, and John. Jesus is on top of the mountain. Moses and Elijah come down. They're glowing. Jesus is glowing. The first thing that comes out of Peter's mouth is, it's a good thing that I'm here, Lord. And so he's called Satan by Jesus. He gets out of the boat, which I will give him credit for. But as he is walking, he begins to sink, and he begins to look at the wind and the waves and freaks out. And so Peter was a guy that continuously burned himself. Peter was a guy that he would act on impulse. He would do these different things. And so Peter had a tendency to burn himself time and time again. And the thing that I've learned, at least in my own life, and I think I would say it's pretty much safe to say about all of us, is we have a tendency to burn ourselves. We have a tendency to put ourselves in places, or to do things, or to act off impulse, or just to completely go against what God is calling us to, and we end up burning ourselves. And so what I want to look at this morning is one exchange between Peter and Jesus, and this is one of my favorite scriptures in the entire Bible, and admittedly, it's a little weird, but I think that if we were to look at what Jesus says to Peter, we would be able to walk through this summer and not get burned. So if you have your Bibles, I want you to go ahead and turn with me to Luke 22, verses 31 through 32. And as you guys are turning there, I want to set up. Are you guys with me this morning? We all on the same page? All right. I see some sleepy heads nodding, like doing that Jello neck church head bob thing. So I want to set up for you what's going on.